Hey guys. So, I found a new gambit. I know, I'm meant to be playing grown-up chess, but you know, sometimes these things present themselves. So, I just played a 5-minute Blitz game, and this line has appeared at least once before as well, but I thought I'd look into it. So I'll show you the game first, which will please Lord Hans too, because he was watching and said, I hope you put it on YouTube. And it's a load of fun. And then we'll have a quick look at the gambit itself, which is not bad at all. And it relates to some other stuff that we've been looking at recently. So, without any further ado, I have the white pieces. Now I'm down in 1350 right now, okay? Because yesterday I forgot how to play chess entirely. But I'm getting over a cold. Maybe I didn't sleep well. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, it's weird, isn't it? You can lose, what, about 200 rating points in 2 days? Isn't that crazy? And it's not that I don't know, it's just performance. Crazy stuff. Anyway, so I start with the Van Geet or Van Geet or whatever, however you want to call it. I'm confused. Everyone's giving me different advice on the pronunciation in Dutch. Anyway, actually I know somebody who's born Dutch, so I might ask her as well. Okay, so we have D5 from black. Kind of makes sense. And now I continue with E4. Now this is the normal move. So this is like we've played a Scandinavian. Like it's E4, D5, and then instead of taking the pawn, which is the normal move for white, I develop this knight. Okay, now if you're an E4 player and you meet the Scandinavian, I mean, traditionally I've played D4 and gone into the Blackmar Gambit against the Scandi. But this is another option. Anyway, so most common move here from black is to push on, and now I'm looking at 2000 level. Right, boys got to have a dream. And if you push on, then you do just the same like you do in the Nimzovich. You swing the knight round. It's going to come around to G3. You're going to get your bishop out. You're going to play D3. You're going to be fine. You're going to have a pair of knights here. Super safe king if you castle short. Okay, so that's the most common move. Second most common move is actually to take the pawn. And then you have options, okay? So I decided here to push D3. And you might find this vaguely familiar, right? It's not exactly the same, but it's a similar kind of pattern. In the Charlik, for example, we'll look at that in a minute, okay? So I'm looking at the pawn, and here the opponent decides to do nothing about it and just play knight C6. Here, apparently, the best move is to take the pawn. I don't do that, I develop. He takes, and now I take back with the bishop. Okay. So we've just thrown in a couple of extra moves there. But like in the Charlik, so in the Charlik as black, you push D6. Right? So it's this, they take, then it's D6, then they take, oh, crikey. Then they take here, and then you capture with the bishop. Okay. So it's like a mirror image of the Charlik in some ways. And notice, this is move 5. I've got 3 pieces developed and I've eradicated 2 pawns out of the centre. Okay? They develop the bishop, I develop the knight, preparing to castle. They hit me. This is not the best move. Why? Well, I've got 2 attackers on the pawn. It's only got 1 defender. So I have a think and decide to take with the knight. They take back, I take back. Knight comes out here. I castle. And he plays this. Okay. Now rook e1, apparently not the best move. Computer says knight e4, just contesting immediately. But I do this, he castles, and I go here. And now I blunder. I mean, this is not great by my opponent. Okay, he thinks he's attacking my bishop, right? What should I do here? Okay, I should take the bishop on c5 because it's free, and that is a discovered defense by the rook on the bishop on e5. But for some reason, I just don't notice that because I'm a dimwit. So I retreat my bishop, he retreats his bishop, and now I attack the knight, knight retreats. Okay, this is not the best move actually. Apparently he needed to defend with f5. Why? Because after this, I've got 2 attackers again. He's not counting. He needs to take his socks off, this guy, right? 2 attackers, 2 defenders. What's wrong with this picture? Well, defender number 1 can't be Her Majesty, right? Which means the G pawn is defender number 1. I decide to take with the knight, with check, very forcing, has to take back. Okay, and now it's time to pile in. And so I start coming in with the queen, and look at these beautiful bishops as well. Look at these guys, right? Now, I don't know if this was the most accurate finish. So, what's the danger? So I considered a bunch of things. I mean, these bishops are just beautiful, but I figured that the threat of mate is the big one, okay? So he pushes here, and apparently now queen h6, which is what I find. Queen h6 now threatening to come in here with checkmate. Right, so he blocks that. And now apparently it's bishop c4. But I don't play, so that would have been best with check. Because the bishop can't block, can it? But I decided now to just try and bust open these pawns. Because whatever happens, if this pawn ever moves, I've got like mate here. If this pawn ever moves, I've got mate here. It's not going to end well. He moves his king out of the way. And now, of course, you're probably way ahead of me. It's mate in 17, forced move. Okay, I push the pawn on. Just want to bust stuff open. Okay, now he pins the pawn. He pins the pawn. But what's he missed? Yep, you're right. Bishop takes f6. F6 is a fork on king and queen. Queen takes, queen takes. I mean, there's no other move. I mean, I guess he could block with a rook there. But in fact, no. After rook, hang on. After rook g7, queen takes g7 is mate. Yeah, just take it. So he's got to give up his queen. He blocks with the rook. I come in with my rook, attacking the pin piece and forking the bishop. I don't even bother to take the bishop here on d7. I come in with my other bishop to try and dislodge this rook that's defending this rook, which is pinned. And he attacks my rook. I just grab the bishop and think, whatever. And the game is over. So that was a heap of fun. So then here's the analysis. There's nothing really much to look at in that. But just, let's look at what the fish thinks. So the fish thinks it's like, you know, black's ever so slightly better here, but okay, that was not most accurate. Fish wants me to take the pawn, and now after this we're fine. Okay. Good developing move, right? And the rest is history, with obviously one complete miss here when I should have just taken a free piece. So let's have a quick look at the opening itself. Now, before that, we'll have a look at a couple of similar gambits. This is the Icelandic palm gambit, which also comes out of the Scandinavian, but this is for black. So this is for you if you were a Scandi player. So we have e4, d5, takes, knight f6. So this is the modern variation of the Scandinavian. The more normal one, the one more normally played at the highest level, is queen takes. Very often getting kicked and having to come back some way. This is the modern variation. And if they defend with c4, which is very natural, and you get this a lot at lower levels, you don't get it at expert level because it's not the done thing to try and hang on to your extra pawn at all costs. The best move actually here for white is just e4. But if you get this, e6, the Icelandic palm gambit, they take, you take back with the bishop, right? Okay, so we've seen this before. And of course we have our old favourite, the Hartlaub-Charlik gambit, which is for black, out of the England gambit, right? Take, bang. So what are you doing here? Right? Notice this lack of central pawns, but the flip side of lack of central pawns is lots of open lines for queens, bishops. Oh my, yeah. You're gonna castle one way or the other. And the other thing about not having a d pawn is that it makes long castles more attractive as well. Okay, so that's the Charlik. So let's have a quick look here at the, whatever it's called. What's it called? The Dunst something. Okay, So this is the position that we got. So this is like a Scandinavian, like I'm facing a Scandi, and I've decided to play knight c3, right? But you play then d3 straight away. I think in the game I played my bishop out first. You play d3 straight away. Now, most common move that you will find most of the time, and I've got this set to 2000 only, by the way. 2000 and bullet rapid and classical, not correspondence, okay? The most common move, by a country mile, e takes d3, and of course bishop takes d3, okay? And look at this, we've got no central pawns, but we've only made 2 pawn moves. And because they're both of the central pawns, you know, like at the beginning of the game, say this a lot, right? Look at these. So to develop your dark squared bishop, you have to move either the b pawn or the d pawn, right? Light squared bishop in black's case. For this guy, the light squared bishop, you have to move either the e pawn or the g pawn. Now watch what happens. Okay, we move 1 pawn, takes. We move another pawn, takes. Out comes the bishop, right? Everything's a forward motion. Knight comes out, we pin the knight. Okay, and e6 is the most common move here, but white wins 60% of the time at 2000 level from this point. And remember, we're a pawn down as well. Stockfish gives it minus 0.3. Okay, again, a kind of a similar move to, if you're a Charlotte player, this might be vaguely familiar. You know, obviously in the Charlotte we play the queen here because we've got black pieces. Okay, but it's a similar idea. You know, what about long castles? What if they castle? You've got the same bishop sacrifice, potentially winning the queen. Yeah, you like it? Okay, most common move, bishop e7. Just blocking off. We develop. They castle. Computer now prefers white. Now the most common move here, a long way, is long castles. In fact, I think here the most common move is long castles, right? But actually knight f3 could be even stronger. Let them castle, and now we go long. Now we go long, and what have we got? Lo and behold, our old friend, okay, the old faithful. Queen side steps, and this is move 9 of the game, right? We push h4, they push h6. It's +2 for white. White wins nearly every game from here, 68% of the time against 28%. But what's interesting is here, this is the end of move 8, right? Both knights out on the board, both bishops out on the board, queen off the back rank, rooks connected, king castled. Okay? We have completed development in 8 moves. And 8 moves is the quickest it's possible to do it, right? Because from here, you've got to move either this pawn or this pawn, right? You've got to move either this pawn or this pawn. Then you've got to develop 1, right? So this is, let's just say for sake of argument it's these 2, but it could just as easily be these 2 and fianchetto your bishops or whatever, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, queen off the back rank, and castle one way or the other. 8, right? That's 8 moves. And it doesn't matter if you do it this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, but actually we've got a problem because the queen can't get off the back rank there. Yes, so you have to move one of your central pawns for the queen to get off the back rank. But you get the point. 8 is the quickest. 8 moves is the quickest that you can complete development. Now at the end of move 8, here we are. We've done everything right. Okay. Whereas black, although he's a pawn up, has still got 2 minor pieces undeveloped. This rook is a long way from seeing this rook, and the queen is still off the back rank. So who's better? Well, according to the fish, it's white, and according to real world results, it's white. So I thought that's interesting. So this is the Dunst-Perrenet Gambit. There you go. Go figure. But I think this one might be worth a little bit more investigation and exploration. And one day, very soon, I hope to remember how to play chess and entertain you once more. But other than that, thanks for watching. See you later.